I know what you need. You just spent big on Christmas, had to turn around, pay your rent and your mortgage. Now you're looking to reinflate your bank account, pay off some of those credit cards. What you need is a wild card weekend. This is KD Drummond of SB Nation, and we're going to break down for you this weekend's matchups against the spread. First game on the ballot, Cincinnati versus Houston. Houston's favored by 4.5 points. It's a rematch of last year's wild card game when TJ Yates, third-string rookie quarterback, led the Houston Texans over Cincinnati and their rookie quarterback at the time, Andy Dalton. Crushing game. Houston went away with 3 big plays. I don't think you're going to see the same thing this year. Cincinnati's defense is much improved. Over the second half of this season, of which they've gone 7-1, they've only been giving up 13 points a game. For the last year and a half, we've basically heard all the big things about Wade Phillips as the defensive coordinator in Houston. But you know, in their last 7 games, they've given up over almost 27 points a game. I see this game, despite the fact that Houston seems to have all the stars, I actually see this game coming out in Cincinnati's favor. I'm going to advise that you go ahead and take Cincinnati and take the 4.5 points, and you'll thank me later, buy your kids something, and say it's from Uncle KD. Next game up on the horizon is going to be Minnesota at Green Bay, where the Packers are favored by 7.5 points at Lambeau Field. Obviously, Minnesota's hot right now. They've won 4 games in a row. They actually just beat Green Bay last week in order to make it into the playoffs. But there's a couple questions that I have that I just don't think you can say come out on the side of Minnesota in this one. Are you really going to trust a quarterback that doesn't throw for more than 15 yards down the field at a time in Christian Ponder? You're going to take that in a playoff game in Green Bay? I don't think so. I see all the work that Adrian Peterson is doing. Not enough credit has gone to rookie left tackle Matt Khalil, their first-round draft pick from 2012. He's done a tremendous job, but I just see Aaron Rodgers going ham this weekend. He's going to have all 4 of his receivers, Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, Randall Cobb, James Jones. They're all going to be in effect. Josh Robinson is going to be targeted over and over again for Minnesota. And I know a lot of people want to jump on the Minnesota 4-game winning streak and all the points that they're putting up, almost 30 points a game in the last 4. But they beat a very diminished Chicago team that was falling apart, and then they were playing 3 games straight in the Dome. This game right now is going to be in Green Bay. You know what the high temperature is going to be in Green Bay on Saturday? Cold. The low temperature? Colder. I don't think Minnesota has a chance. I'm going Green Bay, give the 7.5 points, and I see the Packers going double digits in this one. First game on Sunday is going to be Indianapolis at Baltimore. The Battle of Baltimore is obviously the Colts moved out in the 80s, and you know Baltimore was all heartbroken and everything until Art Modell ripped the heart out of the city of Cleveland. But that's a story for another time. It's a tough game to call myself personally for outright winner. So that means that I don't believe in the 7 points that they're giving Baltimore. It kind of screams that Vegas is knows something on the inside and they're begging people to try and take the Colts. I fell for it because I'm going with the Colts in this one. I've watched the Baltimore team fall apart down the stretch. The only game that they really looked like a contender was against the New York Giants, who were also floundering and giving up their chance to the NFC East title as the weeks tick by. This is going to be Ray Lewis's last home game. He says he's going to retire after the year, I guess, and move on to his next career. The Ravens might benefit from Ray Lewis's on-field leadership, but they're not going to benefit from his play because he really looked like a shell of himself before he got his arm torn off by Dallas's third-string running back. Chuck Pagano, he obviously returned last week as a head coach of the Colts. He has insider trading knowledge on the Ravens defense. So I could easily see this being one of those situations where Andrew Luck, the rookie quarterback phenom who has 4 fourth-quarter comebacks, I could easily see this situation as Baltimore might even have a double-digit lead, but Andrew Luck cuts it down to 1 score as time is trying to tick off the clock down the end. So I'm going to go ahead and say take the 7 points, go with Indianapolis in this one, stick with your gut, go with the Blue U's. Final game of the weekend, obviously the most intriguing as you have 2 read option quarterbacks going head-to-head. Seattle is actually favored on the road in this one. They're favored by 3 points. They're the only road favorite of the weekend, which is kind of surprising considering that Washington is in on a 7-game winning streak. If you watch the game, Washington defeating Dallas on Sunday night, you saw that Alfred Morris is a beast, but you also saw that RG3 looked very gimpy. For some reason, Dallas still couldn't stop him from doing whatever he wanted, but they still look pretty gimpy. The passing game really wasn't there for Washington, and I think that's actually going to come into play in this game against Seattle. Seattle has a much better defense than Dallas does, so I think they're going to be able to bottle up Alfred Morris. It's actually a pretty interesting matchup because both teams' offenses are kind of similar. You have the read option quarterbacks. Actually, Russell Wilson, he wants to run more, obviously, than RG3 does, especially with the injury, but he actually does a lot of stuff out of the pocket more than RG3 does. The running games are similar between Alfred Morris and Marshawn Lynch, but Seattle's defense is really going to be the clear deciding factor in this game. They're up front. Their whole defensive 11. Their cornerbacks are going to be back. They're getting Brandon Brower back from his suspension. Richard Sherman won his appeal, so he's going to be there. So their secondary is going to be full-fledged. If RG3 has a passing game like he did against Dallas, I really don't think it's going to be much there for Washington, even though Pierre Garçon is a quiet-as-kept beast in this game. I actually love the spread on this game. I think it's going to be a push myself. I think Seattle wins this game by 3 points, but since I need to make a decision, I'm going to go ahead and say take the points with Washington, the 3 points. I'll say that just to kind of put something out there, but that's how I think it's going to go. Seattle will win this game by 3 points. So, after you win all your money, thank me later. Ask me for my email address in the comment section. You can send me my percentages. This is KD Drummond of SB Nation giving you your wild card picks for the weekend. Salute.